Wow. Welcome to another, I forgot to get butter out. Welcome to another Stardew stream. You know the drill. I'm making Stardew Valley foods. I have to use ingredients that are in the game. I have to add whatever, only if it's not in the game. And gonna make things up and have fun, etc. Um, I'm making roots platter. This was one where I wasn't really sure what ingredients I was going to use. Um, and I, what do I feel for? Um, my plan originally was to just see like what miscellaneous root vegetables are just eligible for this. Could be found at the farmer's market this week. I went to the farmer's market and there were no root vegetables. Because, well, none that weren't like already something that's in Stardew. Um, and that might have been because I went later than I normally would, but whatever. I got a turnip. Turnips is allowed. It's a root. Um, and I have normal carrots for cave carrots as established. Uh, and also because I don't think this is going to be very complicated or take that long. I think I'm gonna brown some butter and then um, just sort of roast these bad boys with butter and salt and I don't know, maybe some other seasonings too. We'll see if anything speaks to me. Um, but that's the plan. I also an I have some endives, which I've never eaten before. Not a root vegetable. I did look up if they could potentially be the winter root, but they're not a root, so they can't. Um, I believe I mentioned this on a previous Stardew stream, but one of my myriad New Year's resolutions is that if I see a vegetable that I've never eaten before, I have to get it and I have to try it. And I was at the grocery store and I saw endives and I said, I don't think I've ever eaten an endive. So I bought it. As I was checking out, the cashier was like, "Oh, you're one of the few people who like endives." And I said, "What? No, I've never eaten one before. I'm doing a thing where I have to try a vegetable if I've never eaten it before." And they were like, "Oh, well, they're really bitter, and a lot of people don't like them. So it might be bad, but that's okay. That's allowed, um, as long as I try it. Trying it is what's required." I also like don't really know what I'm gonna have with this. This is not gonna be my entire dinner because it is vegetables, which I guess sometimes I eat at dinner. It is basically just vegetables. Um, there's gonna be some sort of side situation for whatever I end up making as the rest of my dinner, but I don't know what that is yet. I think I have some tofu that I was planning on making, but I also have some leftover mac and cheese, so I kind of might just eat that. We'll see. I was gonna get this butter browning while I put these veggies up. I forgot. Let's do that. Uh, yeah, but I got some endives, so I will try one on stream for content or whatever. Oh, the description for Roots Platter. Forgot I usually do that. I was like, oh, I'll just do a shorter version of the little intro. I have this plate of cake crumbs from a cake I finished off, but there's like kind of a lot of crumbs there, so I was like, oh, I'll leave that. Maybe I'll, snack on them. But now the plate is in my way, kind of. Um, yeah. I'm trying to decide if next time I am at the store I need to get fennel for my vegetable challenge because I saw it and I was like, oh, do I need to get that? But I think I've had fennel before, but then I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. So I'm trying to decide, like, how certain do I have to be that I've eaten it before? Um, and I don't know the answer to that, but it's okay. I also, with the endives, I'm like, I don't know how you would cook them. The packaging is like, oh, you can cook them. Which sounds like, especially if they're bitter, probably like a nice move. To like, yeah, I bet if you cook them, they will be less bitter and, uh, you could cook them with some sort of, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, some like stuff that balances that out. I think I forgot to finish explaining what Roots Platter is. I'll do that in a sec. But I don't really know how. But I've got a few of them in here, so maybe I will still cook one. But that's not part of the stream, just as sort of bonus material. So it's fine. Fruits platter uh is, but this will get you digging for more. That thing that we're always saying. Classic classic phrase that we're always saying about root platters. Um, and the ingredients are cave carrot and winter root. So that's what I'm working. Right. There's some pepper in here. And I don't know, paprika? Sure. Actually, maybe this would be good to do like a little bit of like warm spices on. Um, I'll throw a little bit of nutmeg as well. And thyme? Paprika, nutmeg, thyme? That seems actually that seems like a nice. Let's do that. And then we'll put that brown butter on there. And that'll be root splatter. Okay, let's see what the deal with this is. This is an endive. expecting it to be a lot more better. Like it's kind of better, but not more so than like some like types of lettuce, you know? Um, I'm sorry, it's endive is how you pronounce it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this. I don't think I want to just like eat a whole ton of it completely plain, but I don't know if I want to like kind of put like some ranch on it. I wonder if that's any good. If I feel like little bits of this in salad, it would be like fine. Hmm. Actually, kind of bad with ranch. Just like a glob of ranch, and then also the sort of bitter leaf. Actually, that bite was not that bad. Maybe I just had my sort of amounts bad. These cake crumbs are really stale. I'm not gonna save them. That kind of makes sense because they are small little crumbs. Oh, I gotta run the dishwasher. I've been kind of noodle maxing today. I ate leftover mac and cheese for breakfast, and then I ate leftover pad thai for lunch. And as previously stated, I might eat the rest of my leftover mac and cheese the other part of this dinner. I feel like that would probably honestly go pretty well with with this, which is why I'm like maybe I should do that instead of like making tofu. Because the mac and cheese I made has like pumpkin and sage, so sort of a goes with root vegetables type of situation. So I really don't have anything really that I'm thinking about right now. Um, I'm kind of just watching this butter brown, but it is almost there. I'm also wearing my like big jacket instead of a normal just like sweater or something. Because this morning I was like, okay, I'm gonna put on a sweater, and then I was like, oh, actually, I should not do that because I had blood work this morning, and so I was like, let me wear a t-shirt and just put a jacket on to go for that, so that I can more easily give them my arm for them to take the blood out of it. And then I just didn't change. So that's sort of that story as to why I'm wearing a sort of an outside jacket inside. Get the little bits of the brown of the milk solids. But actually, I guess I'm gonna kind of toss this around to get the seasoning coating everything anyway, so it doesn't need to all be already spread out. Okay, I hope this is tasty. I like turnips. Like the first time I ever made turnips, I just like pretty much did this. I think I probably used olive oil instead of butter because I was allowed to use whatever, and olive oil is already in liquid form. But I just just like put some oil and salt um and stuck them in the oven, and they were so tasty. And I was like, okay, I'm really into this vegetable now. And I've made them since, and I mean, I still like them, but I have not made them like as good as the first time I ever made turnips. So now I'm like always chasing that high. Um, I think I alluded to this, but didn't necessarily like say it outright. But I don't really know what a winter vegetable is, or a winter root is. Like the sprite in Stardew doesn't necessarily like look like something that I know, like maybe a sweet potato, but that has sort of a complicated relationship with whether it's allowed that I will get to whenever I make something that includes yams. Um, so I didn't want to be like, oh, a sweet potato is a winter root, even though there's lots of sweet potatoes available during the winter. Um, so I guess it is like a root that you can get in winter, that people grow and harvest in winter. Um, yeah, that's sort of that thought. The thing with the thing with sweet potatoes as a winter root is that they there's not a thing in Stardew called sweet potato, but there's yam. And there's two things that yams can refer to. One of them is like a yam, and the other one is a sweet potato, and it is regional. I've looked this up before when I was like doing some planning for this like challenge overall. Um, and I've like heard it discussed generally before. I don't remember the details off the top of my head, but like in the US mainly we have sweet potatoes and people call those yams, I think is the situation. But then there's like a different vegetable that also is called a yam. That's more related. I don't know if it is like the same vegetable as like ube, or if ube, which is like purple yam, and orange or like brown colored yams are like I don't know if it's the same vegetable, it's just different colors of it, or if they're like two different but like related ones. So I don't know what the deal with is with that, but whenever I get to like roasted glazed yams, I think that's what it is. And I think there's one other recipe that has yams in it. I don't remember what it is. I am, I think, gonna do two versions and do one with sweet potatoes and one with other yams. So that's gonna be sort of a figure out how to acquire yams that are not sweet potatoes situation because I don't know that I have seen them before at the store. But you know what? Maybe I will see them in pursuit of vegetables that are new to me. And in that case, I'll get some and try them. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, these are my accidental bonzo beans. Sort of looking at what random stuff I have in my pantry right now. I thought about doing roasted hazelnuts as part of this one, but I'm not doing that. I still have hazelnuts from when I did stuffing and put hazelnuts in that. I will roast hazelnuts another time, but I didn't. I was like, this doesn't need to be a combo, a two for one, a bargain bin stream. Uh, I bet putting a little bit of like balsamic vinegar on the fruits platter would be very tasty, but I think that counts as vinegar. Well, okay, hang on. If there is a variation on an ingredient that is specific, that has what's it called? I'm sure it says it on this bottle. Um, the thing where it's like a protected term for for like products of a particular place. DOP is in my head. I don't remember what that stands for, like designation of protected something or other. Um, there's stuff like that on that bottle, but I don't know if that's the exact thing I'm thinking of. Um, Something like balsamic vinegar that by definition would not be the the thing in Stardew, would not be like the version that you could get or make. I wonder if that counts. I don't know. I also actually don't know how, well, with the like nutmeg and thyme, that's maybe not something that necessarily is like needs balsamic vinegar on it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try a little bit if I have leftovers. Uh, when it's sort of in the free version where I can um do whatever. I think I need to this mac and cheese. I think it's like a little bit too much sage in it, but so I was trying to use up. I had some like um I had like a thing of fresh sage that was like starting to get kind of dry, which, sort of shout out to herbs for when they get dry, not getting like wet and yucky and rotten, but instead just sort of drying out, which is the other way that you eat them anyway. Uh, but yeah, it was the sage was starting to dry out, and I was like, all right, I gotta like chop this up and put it in this mac and cheese. Um, Before it is simply not good anymore. Just, just heat it up really fast. I guess that will happen when you put not a lot of stuff in the microwave at once. Yeah, I threw my roots platter in here for 10 minutes. I'm gonna sort of shuffle it around, flip them over, throw it back in for a little bit longer, and that will be done. I guess we'll see how it looks when it comes out. If it seems like it's like shouldn't go back in the oven for longer, then I will not do it. Yeah, I'll flip this. With like flipping over a plate of like a tray of stuff, is that it becomes difficult to tell which one's already been flipped. But I also don't think it's like direly important to make sure that everything gets exactly flipped over. I think as long as it's just sort of mostly been mixed around, that'll that'll do. We do like, I don't know, another 8 minutes maybe. We can use that for it. All right, hit more bowls and space. I can get more. Hmm. Okay, maybe not start the dishwasher right away because it's kind of loud. It's not that loud, but Ooh, I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of these ondives, so I'm gonna put those away and figure that out probably tomorrow. I guess I should put it in my hang out for 5 minutes until my vegetables are done. Yeah. Mm, beautiful. Beautiful. I think this should go on this plate. Sometimes I just really commit to using a utensil that is probably not the ideal one for the job, if I can be so frank. Things that would be really fun to say if my name was Frank. Let's see. Or, oh, hot. Okay. Roots Platter. It's really hot. Gonna let it cool off a little bit and see what the text message I received was. Talking about enemies. It's still hot. It is tasty though. It's, I mean, this is turnip. Tastes like turnip. Um, what I like about turnips is that like if you cook them nicely, they're like they've got a nice like they have a good texture. And they also I feel like that one at least did not really taste. I think I'm remembering right that this is turnips. Have sort of like a mustard like flavor. Like there's a little bit of like not like chili spicy, but like kind of a spice to them that I quite enjoy. Um, and that's a carrot. I think the carrots are maybe like a little bit overcooked, but not not too bad. I'm always a little bit like I don't know. I don't think I know the way that I most prefer to cook carrots to get like the level of texture I want. So I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, I want them to be more crispy or like more firm still, and then I cook them that way. And I'm like, I wish this was softer, and then I cook them softer, and I'm like, I wish this was less soft. I don't know, much to think about, much to muse on. Um, much buttery vegetables to enjoy. Um, yeah, here's the mustardy thing I was thinking of. It is also like it's like a little bit bitter in a sort of similar way that the endives endives were, but like a milder amount of it. It's fun. Okay, that's this installment. That's this episode of this thing. Okay, bye.